You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W297CL Levittown.
Paralysis by analysis. That's what you get from the other guys, but not here, not now, and not ever. This is the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. A look deep inside the game from a former player's perspective. The Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA is brought to you by BCWSA, The Pines Tavern, Penn Community Bank. We now go live for the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, welcome to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We are live for the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park. I'm John Brazer, joined by my buddy Tommy Greene. And Tommy, we got a great show lined up today. It is alumni weekend. A lot to talk about because it was doom and gloom the first couple days of the week, and then now we're all feeling good. We have the best record in baseball. We witnessed a cycle by a rookie, complete game by a young pitcher.
Oh, man, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
A lot of good things. We have 39 games left in the regular season, so a lot to talk about. And we're going to have a lot of guests today. We're going to have, as always, Aramark's Jason Firestone will be coming on.
He's important now.
Very important because he's bringing a food item so Chris Ermer can eat. We're going to have on former Phillies fan favorite Aaron Rowan, who will be bartending pretty soon over there with Joe Blanton across the way.
I got to go check him out then.
Yeah, well, then you're going to walk with him after the segment with him. You're going to go up and get ready for the ceremony, and Chris Ermer and I will take over. But last night, Tommy, we honored the late, great Dave Montgomery, who I had the pleasure of working for many years, and I know you worked with him very closely. Yeah. And to talk about Monty, there's probably no better person to bring on than the Executive Vice President and good friend of Dave Montgomery and ourselves, Dave Buck. Bucky, how are you doing?
I'm fine, gentlemen. How are you?
And I always got to ask this question, especially with you. You've been around this guy forever. What about that title he has?
Well,
Director of Fun and Games.
As soon as they started it, like the introduction for this show, they said, then the Phillies Director of Fun and Games. I'm like, that's not even a real title. Like, that's completely made up.
Well, I gave that title to myself.
But that fits him, though.
Oh, it's perfect.
I gave that title to myself 31 years ago, and they keep trying to give me some corporate gobbledygook title. And I was on a panel and they mentioned my title and I didn't know what that was.
Neither do I. That's the funny. I have no idea what your real title is. I just know you.
I barely know my real title.
And we had like a fight with Dave Raymond, who at one point thought he was it, and Dave now is a self-titled Emperor of Fun and Games. So they're going, which one's more?
He took my card and upped me, and he upped me so much that I can't. How do you up Empire?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yahweh?
Emperor.
Yahweh?
I don't know what you are.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go back to Dave
Montgomery. I know
Montgomery.
what you are. I just can't say it.
Let's go back to Dave Montgomery because, again, Dave, you were very good friends with Dave Montgomery, and you worked with him. We had a great tribute last night.
It was wonderful.
Video that kind of brought back a lot of emotions for me, and I'm sure for you and everybody in the crowd. Talk about Dave Montgomery, what he meant to you and to the organization.
He literally was just a super special guy. He cared so much about the Phillies, but about people, about us. He knew everybody. It's funny.
That's an understatement.
It's great. It was great. Like last night, we've known him forever. I worked for him for over 30 years. I golfed with him probably 300 times. It was just so much fun. But he, in preparation for last night, I'm kind of like, well, we know all the stories, and last night exceeded my expectations.
Okay.
Like, in terms of what everybody talking about and former players talking about him, talking to you guys throughout the night last night. He just was a super special guy. No pretenses. What you saw is what you got, and he cared a lot.
He was straight up. That's for definite. Yep.
And he came from Roxborough. For those that don't know, he grew up in Roxborough. Was a big Phillies fan. He said he used to put like something on this floor, and he would slide to imitate Richie Ashburn. So here's a guy that grew up.
Richie,
I'd love to witness that.
In the off season, way back when, Richie Ashburn had to work in the sales office, selling season tickets, like in the late '60s. Richie wasn't playing then, but he was an announcer or whatever. Yeah. He had to do that. And then when David's first job, he got all of Richie Ashburn's leads.
Really?
Yeah, so we opened up the door and got all leads. One of them was like from a funeral home, like so he was calling dead people. Like Richie didn't really have legit leads and everything,
Right.
but David, like David started at the bottom, rose to the top. There was a famous story, like one of his summer jobs was he was
Diapers,
a
right?
diaper
Yeah.
delivery guy. So last night I'm talking to Fran Dunphy, the famous coach, and who's good friends with David, and he starts telling the diaper dandy diaper story last night about David.
Well, you mentioned names. What I was fascinated with is that he really did, he was a man of the people. So we have a lunchroom upstairs where, for a game, we have our press, all the press seat up there. But during the regular season and during just a day without a game, all the Phillies employees go up and eat in this room. Dave Montgomery ate there every night he was in the office, every day. And he would not just sit down with all the vice presidents. He would sit down at the internship table.
Yep.
And if he didn't know their name, he would ask them their name. And then sure enough, the next day, and I'm sure the kids were frightened,
Yep.
right? Oh, my God, here's the big boss.
And we eat up there still, and everybody has like their little tables, like their little cliques almost. John and I eat a lot together. David never sat at the same table twice. He would just come in and he'd go, all right, I'm going to go sit with them. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go over there. And it wasn't phony. Like he cared. He wanted to talk to people.
Oh,
and then he talked to someone, and then he's like, "Did you know? Susie is going to get her MBA from." I'm like, I don't even know who Susie is.
Right.
Let alone whether she's getting her MBA.
That's so him though.
And he was so detail oriented. He would come to every meeting with a yellow pad and 3 that were perfectly sharpened number 2 pencils, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he would ask you a question, and oftentimes he would know the answer,
Sure.
but he's testing you. He knew everything about parking, about ticket sales, so anybody's expertise. He had a beat on everything, and you couldn't BS your way past it. If he asked you a question, you didn't know it, you better not BS.
You better say I don't know.
He's going to know, right?
And I think part of it, he was super smart. I mean, he was just wicked smart. But I also think he prepared better than anybody. So before a meeting, he would look at those yellow notepads, and he would know what we talked about 2 months ago. And then hey, did you follow up on this and everything? And you're like, I got to do it. Like we were talking before he went on the air. Like David would yell at you. I mean, he was a super nice guy, but he would yell at you. And when he yelled at you, you're like, man, I'm wrong. Like he wouldn't yell if you didn't mess up.
Yeah. Wait, and you had a story with your daughter.
Oh, so he's it kind of ties everything together. So I have 3 children, and you have a baby, and then your family comes over the first day, and then you're kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Now I have a baby. David, when Andrew was born, David and Lenny came over, brought pizza like on day 2 home, and it was just wonderful. It was like kind of a calming. And then we have Katie 2 years later, and he goes, I want to be the first non-family man. He did it again. So then for Jake, our 3rd child, he comes over, and now Andrew's 5 and Katie's 3. And we play Bingo Zingo, where you have to pick out, that's an apple, that's a house, that's a car, a little tile, and you saw what it was, you picked it and put it on your little bingo card. So he's playing with Katie, which is really nice, and Lenny's helping. Apple comes out, and Katie goes reaching for it. She's 3, goes reaching for it, and just then David's hand comes flying by and took the apple because he needed it too. So Katie's crying. And David's there like, it's a tough world out there. You got to learn. So he was super competitive.
I know that.
Yeah.
You know that from being on the golf course with him.
Sure.
And talk about the unveiling last night, which I think is very special. Talk about the genesis of how this occurred, the Monty angle.
So the Monty angle, it's unbelievable that.
That's such a great thing.
So last year, I think 2 years ago it happened, then last year in the playoffs or 2 years ago, JT hit it inside and hit Monty's angle. Mm-hmm. We all knew it, and we turned to, meeting the employees, we turned to each other and said, that's Monty's angle. David.
Now, for those that don't know, explain what it is.
So in the outfield, as we're designing this place 20-some years ago, a lot of ballparks are just kind of symmetrical, and David said, I don't want that. And so a lot of angles.
Yeah.
And then he came up with it. In center field, there's a big angle, but the wall, instead of being 8 or 9 feet high, is like 15 feet high.
Yeah.
And we're all like, well, what's that? And the architects, we had lunch with the architects 2 months ago, and I told them about this, and they're like, they remember clear as day. He wanted angles so the ball would bounce all over the place because he thought the triple was the best, most fun play in sport. In
I agree with that because
and
that's the hardest one to get. That's Wilson.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Correct. But so when JT hit it and then someone else, I think Bryce in the post-game interview said, yeah, that's the angle that David Montgomery came up with. Like, Bryce wasn't here for David, maybe just like 2 months or something like that, and they knew about it. And then John Middleton, he heard that and everything, and then as this came about that he was going to get honored onto the Toyota Wall of Fame, he's there like, I'm going to name that angle there. So it's really neat.
Awesome.
That's really awesome.
That's awesome.
And talk about Dave's role, because his signature, it's this whole ballpark in general is, obviously there's a lot of people involved with the architects and everybody, but Dave was instrumental in a lot of the details of this ballpark.
Not a lot of every single detail.
Right.
And I mean that as a compliment. I mean, he knew like I guess it's called the treads on the seats, like how high they are and how low. And he knew if you had a 13-inch tread instead of a 14-inch tread or vice versa. But everything he did, and even parking spots, he'd make them like 2 inches wider than standard that the architects would say, so that your car wouldn't get dinged as much from a mauler. Like
and the drink rails.
The drink rails. He wanted, his big thing was he wanted you to be connected to the ballpark all the time, and you can walk a complete loop around, and the only time you don't see anything is behind the batter's eye. So the concessions are on the back wall, so you're walking and you look, or they're portables. You stand at a portable, you can see the action going on. Yeah. He also wanted, when you come in on ground level, he didn't want you to walk up a ramp like we did at the vet.
Okay.
He wanted you to walk in and then walk down. So, the ballpark is 24 feet underground or whatever. We pump 24 hours a day, pump water out because of doing that. It's like a giant bathtub.
Okay.
And it was more expensive, and it's more of a hassle, but it's better for the fans. And David's there like, that's what we're doing.
And the walking around the ballpark is very unique, because I know we were looking at Camden Yards was kind of the prototype of the new ballparks. And Camden Yards is great, holds up, unbelievable. And they have Utah Street, but the problem with Utah Street is you really can't see the action. Right. There's a little section where you can see the game, but you're pretty much blocked from the view. So I think Dave's idea was basically to create Utah Street, which has become our Ashburn Alley, but with a view.
With the view, and also if you go, Camden Yards is wonderful. Two things though: the way, for some reason, their seats are angled funny, like how the angle of the sections are. The seats are like perpendicular to the section, so they're not super comfortable. You got to turn a little bit, and he goes, I'm not doing that. And then if you go to Camden Yards, you go back to get a hot dog, you're going underneath like a column, and underneath, and you're blocked. Completely wanted the fan.
Can you believe that this is the oldest ballpark in the NL East?
Is that crazy?
It is crazy.
Like,
and that's it's beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful place.
And it holds up. Every person that comes here from out of town says, I love your ballpark.
It's amazing how much time and effort and, of course, money we spend each year just keeping it, fixing things, like fixing the air conditioning, fixing this and that people don't see, but they would see it if it wasn't working, if all those things were going on. So it's beautiful. It's awesome.
All right, and then in carrying the spirit of Dave Montgomery, what do we have coming up in 2 years? 2026.
The All-Star Game. And you saw on the clip last night with Commissioner Manfred, he and the commissioner, before he was commissioner, and David were very good buddies. And David, not only was he doing everything with us, he was probably one of the best owners in the league in terms of interacting with the league's business, because he knew it.
He was on every committee.
But he knew it because he started with tickets, he started with sponsorship, he knew all that stuff. So the commissioner would rely on him, and he was very close with Bud Selig and got very close with Rob. And then when the voting was going on for when Rob got elected commissioner, David was like his campaign manager. As part of that, not as part of that, then David got sick. And David had been thinking about the All-Star Game in 2026 probably for like 7 or 8 years. Like he knew that would be 30 years since the last time we had. There are 30 baseball teams. Like, because when we opened this place in 2004, they're like, hey, we normally give the All-Star Game to a new ballpark. And he's there now, like, push off. I'd rather do it 2026 because it's better for Philadelphia if we do everything in 2026. So just before David passed away, the commissioner came down. We had a big announcement and saying the All-Star Game's in 2026.
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. That's, God bless Dave Montgomery, his family. Just I told Lenny, I think, after he had passed away, I said, other than my parents, I don't think there was an adult that, and I'm sure you probably feel the same way, there wasn't an adult that had such an influence on my life and career, and I'm sure you can echo that.
So 100% true, and what's neat is you're saying that. I can say that without a doubt that he was the most impactful man in my career, other than my parents. 30 other people here could say that, the same thing. And it's serious. It's not like, oh, I know I'm a good guy. No, it's like he totally changed the trajectory of both of our lives, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Dave, I really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. And I know you got a big alumni day out there today. So
do I get like a gift card or anything? Or
yes, you get a free water right there.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, all right.
And
thank you very
if
much.
you stick around, Jason Firestone's coming over to bring some food.
Ooh.
So you do get some food as well. So
we got to see. We haven't seen him yet.
So all right.
Oh, schedule magnet.
Yes, you can have one of these, Dave Montgomery. There you have it. All right.
Thank you.
That was Executive Vice President Dave Buck. Thanks, Dave. All right, coming up on the show, Tommy, we're going to talk about this week in baseball, and we have cycles, we got complete games, we got a lot of things, and we have the best record in Major League Baseball. How about that? All right, you're listening to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We are live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now's the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bills. Harris Comfort can also handle all your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on whole house generators. Harris Comfort is still family owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
At Penn Community Bank, our commitment to helping our customers and communities grow and thrive drives everything we do. Whether you are just starting out or setting new goals, we have the checking solutions that can flex to your needs at any life stage. And for a limited time, you can earn a $300 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pat Dion Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase all your wine, liquor, and other fine spirits right next door. Visit us on Facebook or online at patdionbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We're live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host Tommy Greene. And Tommy, consider a career at Septa. Septa is hiring a variety of skilled trade positions, including mechanics, electricians, plumbers, masons, painters, carpenters, welders, millwrights, and more. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation, great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and a pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. All right, Tommy, we had a interesting week.
Yes.
Because
4-2 week, though.
Yeah, I know. So if you remember the Diamondback series, we got off to a great start, right, after having a great series against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And you have we win the first game of the series, 4-game series. You're thinking good things.
Yeah.
And then,
boom.
Man, just bad. It continued. And Sunday night might have been one of the worst. So
yeah.
Sanchez had one of his worst outings. He went 4 2/3, gave up 12 hits, 7 earned runs. You know, not
got beat around a little bit.
Got beat around, and Alvarado gave up a home run.
You got to get him right. You know?
Yep. So, it was just a whitewash. And Merrill Kelly hadn't pitched in a long time, and he certainly pitched well against us. So 12-5, we lost that one. Monday, we had a day off, so that's good. We didn't lose there.
Yeah.
And then again, Tuesday was a tough game too, because this is where the offense first of all, I think we were pressing. We just lost. Not
Anytime
on a good
you get
run.
4 hits in a ball game, there's a lot of things that's going on. We're scuffling, but also you run into a guy that, that pitched.
Right.
I mean, it's not that he was overpowering.
Not overpowering in the least.
But overpowered, but he really pitched and changed speeds and located pretty well. And that stuff can happen. It just shows you don't have to throw upper 90s or whatever to get people out, So.
Yeah, and the bad sign, Taijuan Walker comes back after an injury. He gives up 2 runs in the first inning.
Yeah.
And to a team that's scuffling anyway, that's feeling the pressure, I think that was the worst thing that could happen, because all of a sudden now everyone's trying to hit 5-run home runs.
Well,
right?
it's just a bad mojo going. But you look at it, you're getting a guy back that hopefully we can get on track and he can give us what we need. We need the back end of our rotation to give us some good starts now.
Well, it looks like Suarez is coming back, which is good. Interesting is Tyler Phillips was sent down to AAA.
Yeah.
So not sure if he's going to be coming back at some point, but Suarez will be coming into the rotation. So Walker could be that 5th guy.
Yeah. We need him to get. Just give us a chance. And he really. He could pitch 5 innings or something like that. But
he
went a couple runs.
4 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks.
Well, see, that's what it is. Right off the bat, he was walking guys. And that hurts you. It puts you in a bad situation. Anytime you start walking guys.
But the story really was we only had 4 hits that game.
Yeah.
So when you combine
couple errors,
4 hits, 2 errors. And and then giving up the lead right away.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, after Tuesday, you're feeling about, as a Phillies fan. I know for at least my sake, I'm feeling about as bad. Just man, can we just somehow get out of this?
Yeah.
And then Wednesday comes around, and Wednesday, same thing. It looked like we were going to be. We get down 3-0 right from the get-go.
Yeah.
Right. There was a 3-run home run by a guy named Bride.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I watched that first half inning in my office, and
I was thinking about you, by the way. I thought I was sort of worried about you.
You should be thinking about me. Tyler Phillips did not have a strong outing. 4 1/3 at innings pitch.
Because you got a lot of things standing up in your office on the top of the desk and stuff. I'm thinking about that stuff not being there anymore.
Yes, you're right. I do have a lot of piles and stuff, but it's more like the back of my desk that takes the brunt of it. But Tyler Phillips, 4 1/3, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, and I tell you what, the swing by Kyle Schwarber, the grand slam
that
took place in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
Because we were down. We were down 3-0, then 3-1, 3-2,
and then 5-2.
Then they go up 5-2, so they take another 3-run lead, and the Kyle Schwarber grand slam, which then put us up, and then we went on a roll from there.
Yeah.
We might be looking back on this season and saying that was a swing that basically changed everything. Right?
Yeah. You can say there's some instances, that changed a lot of things, back in us in the day, the catch Milt Thompson made, and stuff like that changed the mojo a little bit, the enthusiasm of the team, say, hey, we can do this, type thing. Let's get it going. It's going in the right direction. Keep the train going. The positive vibes, and that's a huge thing sometimes because you start thinking positive.
You're not feeling the pressure.
Yeah. You start thinking in the right way.
Harper had 2 doubles, which was great. Again, team was 5 for 14 runners in scoring position.
Yeah,
and
everybody involved from up and down that lineup.
Well, kudos to the bullpen too, because Ruiz, Strom, Hoffman, Alvarado, Estevez all pitched shutout. So.
Shutout.
We needed that game, and we carried momentum. We had a 4-game series against the Nationals. Nationals are not a bad team.
No. They're young, and they're young too. They're playing their young guys, man.
And this is basically the Weston Wilson game, because Weston Wilson hit for the cycle. He became the 9th Philly player to hit for the cycle. He became the 2nd player at Citizens Bank Park. I think David Bell and Weston Wilson are the only ones to do that.
Look at the bottom of that lineup, man.
Well,
there it is.
13 runs, and yes, you look at the bottom of the lineup,
and it turns it over, man.
So you got the very bottom, you got Weston Wilson, 4 for 5, 3 runs scored,
1
RBI, home run. And then Rojas, 2 for 5, 3 RBI.
And
right?
1 run scored.
Yep. Turner had
unbelievable.
Turner had a big game, 3 for 5. Harper had a big game, 2 for 4. Bohm, obviously, with 3 RBIs.
But my player have been for a little bit that's made the turn when people are not really talking about that much is Castellanos.
Castellanos, yes.
He's hitting over 300 since
he's
first of July.
He's on his roll.
And you can see the approach change.
Yep.
A little bit. He's going everywhere. And,
yep.
He still swings, but the approach it doesn't look like he's trying to do too much.
Can I ask you a question? If you're a pitcher and you're facing Castellanos, why would you ever give him a pitch to hit on the first pitch? Because Castellanos he swings almost. Yeah. I'd love to see the stat of how many first pitches at an at-bat he swings at, because it feels like it's like 95%.
Yeah, he does. And for a pitcher, you got to know the guys who want to jump. They try to jump ship first pitch. Not just they're willing to swing. It says you have to be cognizant, not just with the fastball. With your breaking ball.
Right.
Not just trying to throw a get me over.
Right.
And get it down, over the middle of the plate, because he handles that ball down.
Yep.
And so you gotta make a quality pitch. It's not perfect pitch, but because a lot of times he swings and gets himself out.
Yes.
But he's going good right now, and he's going everywhere. He's using the whole field. That's such a good thing. He's hot right now. We got to keep him.
And Zach Wheeler, great game. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned run. And then Kirkering, Banks, Lazar. So a big game. Again, that momentum from the night before carried forth in a big way. Phillies win 13-3.
Yeah.
Then Friday night was a great game.
Yeah.
Really just we were up to a great pitching performance.
Yes.
Really
so
good.
So far for Nola, man.
Yeah. Nola, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. He gets taken out. Strom gets the last out. Strom gets the first out in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
Then Hoffman gets, so now we go to the 9th with a 2-0 lead. And, Estevez had his first blown save with the Phillies, but it wasn't like, the one was a bloop single.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the other ones were pretty sharp grounders, but both ones I thought.
The big one was the bloop. If we get it out that time, it changes the way things go.
But even the singles were, in both instances, the fielders were shaded over a little bit. And it would have been outs like in a normal situation. So, but Estevez held on and prevented any more runs.
Yeah.
We go 2-2, and then that bottom, of the 9th, Marsh leads off.
Huge walk.
Well, yeah, Marsh leads off, gets a double.
Well, you got a double? Yeah, was it a double? Yeah, that's right, it was a double.
Marsh leads off, gets a double.
It was a double. I'm thinking the other time he
Cal
walked.
Stevenson comes in, who just got brought up, who's very fast.
Unsung.
Puts down a great bunt that basically bewilders the third baseman and the pitcher. So now we got first and third. Then you get Schwarber, gets a really good at bat, goes 3-0, and then they just end up walking him.
Well, he was trying to make the third baseman field it. He was trying to bunt it hard enough, and the ball got by the pitcher. The third baseman made a bad read on it,
right?
Which is what you want,
right? Exactly right.
That just opened everything up.
And he's fast too.
Oh
so
yeah.
And then you have Schwarber basically gets on with a walk. So now you have bases loaded, and it got 2 strikes on Turner. And Turner battled, and then he found the pitch that he wanted, and boom, he hits it off the wall. Game over. I was actually, to tell you the truth, I watched the very end of that game at the Ocean Casino because I was about to walk in to see the Stray Cats on Friday night.
You are a music guy, dude.
Yep.
Yes, you do. You love your music.
I do. And then last night, we have all the alumni or the Wall of Fame. Dave Montgomery gets inducted to the Wall of Fame. We have all the Wall of Famers out there. And how about Christopher Sanchez? Because let me just tell you, Tommy, right now, it is time now for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. Christopher Sanchez tossed his second complete game this season. There's only 3 pitchers, including Christopher Sanchez, who have thrown 2 complete games this season. Tells you about the state of the game. Max Fried, Kevin Gausman for Toronto. So it's his second complete game of the season, become the first Philly to have multiple complete games in a season since Aaron Nola last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the first left-hander to do it for the Phillies since Cliff Lee, 2013. He became the first Philly to have multiple complete games with 3 or fewer hits allowed, no walks, since Roy Halladay did it 2010. And he was the first Philly to toss a 9-inning complete game in under 100 pitches since Ranger Suarez did it in 2021. He had 15 groundouts, which is a career high, and tied for the most by Philly in a single game since StatCast began tracking in 2008. He joins Halladay twice, A.J. Burnett, Kyle Kendrick as the only Phillies to gather 15 groundouts in an outing since 2008. And also, Tommy, it was the shortest game at Citizen Park this season, 2 hours and 6 minutes.
I'll tell you what, I was watching that game last night, and I knew right off the bat, because both pitchers were doing real well. We got to Gore,
right?
When we got to them, and I was like, this is going to be a quick game because everybody. I mean, both teams were coming out hacking.
A lot of ground balls too.
They were hacking early in counts, and I mean, it went quick. And I looked up in the ninth. I didn't even know Sanchez was still in there. I said, how many pitches he got? And I saw where he had. He didn't have but like
just under 90
pitches. He was under 90 pitches going into the last inning.
And that was your Philly Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Call them again at 1-866-PAY-EASY. All right, coming up on the show, we're going to talk to one of my favorite people that I've ever worked with, Aaron Rowan.
How
Great
about that guy?
Oh. And we can't wait to talk about the catch, to talk about a lot of things. He's getting married in a couple of weeks, too.
We're going to talk about that.
So
what's going on
a lot
with
of stuff
that?
to talk about with Aaron Rowan. You're listening to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA.
This is Tommy Greene from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. And here's the pitch. BCWSA water and sewer customers, you have a new and improved option to pay your bill that's convenient, reliable, and secure. Powered by Invoice Cloud, you can pay your bill 24/7 online, pay by text or phone, or sign up for AutoPay to avoid fees for late or missed payments. Visit bcwsa.net to sign up or for more info. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, proven.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now is the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bills. Harris Comfort can also handle all your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on whole house generators. Harris Comfort is still family owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
At Penn Community Bank, we're in the business of building thriving communities. That means breaking down the barriers to home ownership, supporting fair, affordable access to housing from Philadelphia to the Lehigh Valley, like our Home Opportunity Mortgage that empowers eligible borrowers with no minimum credit score, no down payment, access to grant programs, and so much more. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/home for more details. Penn Community Bank. Here we grow. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Account and feature terms, restrictions, and conditions apply.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pat Dion Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase all your wine, liquor, and other fine spirits right next door. Visit us on Facebook or online at patdionbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we are back to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. We are live from the CP Ranking Club. I'm John Brazer, joined by my co-host, Tommy Greene. And as I mentioned before we went to break, one of my favorite people to ever wear a Phillies uniform, the great Aaron Rowan. What's up, Aaron?
How's it going, big guy?
I'm good, man.
Hey,
well, things are good for you.
That's an understatement. He's one of the best guys ever.
I
have such a great time with him every time I'm around.
And there's obviously someone else who feels that way because you're getting married in about 2 weeks.
Yes. How'd you fool her?
I got lucky. Hey, and Tommy knows this. So, no, about a month.
In a month?
Yeah, in a month.
All right. And where are you getting married?
In my backyard.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
In San Clemente, Southern California.
That's awesome. Nice. And your fiance's here, right?
Yeah, she's upstairs in the suite.
Yeah.
Getting badgered by Debbie right now?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, all
right.
Debbie just called me, by the way.
All right, so let's talk about your, because everyone talks about the Cats. We'll get to that. But you had just won a World Series with the White Sox, right?
Right.
Which was first World Series they had since like 1919, I think, right?
Yes. So it was like 88 years.
So the city must have gone crazy, right, for that. And then shortly thereafter, you get traded to the Phillies.
Right.
So what was that like when you came to Philadelphia, just coming off a World Series?
Well, I mean, I was excited about it. Funny story, actually. So after we ended up winning the World Series that year, they did a World Series DVD. And so they actually called Joe Caridi and I up and asked us if we would come back to Chicago to do the World Series DVD unveiling, like at this movie theater. They're going to do a screening of it and everything. So we go back to Chicago, do that, and I'm in a cab on the way to O'Hare Airport the next morning. And Bruce Levine, who does ESPN Baseball, ESPN 1000 Radio in Chicago, Bruce is like the baseball insider in Chicago, right? And he gets on, he's talking in the cab, he had ESPN 1000 on in the cab, and Bruce comes on and says, yeah, there's rumors about Aaron Rowan going to Philadelphia for Jim Tomey. And I was in the back of the cab going, yeah, right. I'm like, yeah, right. There's nothing. I got home, and not like 3 days later, I get a phone call from our GM, Kenny Williams, that I had got traded to Philly for Jim. And I was like, well, if I'm going to get traded for anybody, there's nobody better to get traded for.
That's a good honor right there.
That's a big honor.
So then 2006, you come to the Phillies, and in mid-May, you basically become ingratiated with the Phillies fans right away. Talk about Xavier Nady coming up to bat. Set up the moment.
Well, it started actually in batting practice that day. And Gavin Floyd was pitching, and it was his rookie year. And he had thrown the heck out of it almost all season. But every game, he would always have one big inning.
Yeah.
And it was like, give up like a 4 spot or a 6, right? And then he would just throw zeros up the rest of the game. And you could always see what he was doing because he was a mental guy. You guys know him. I mean, come on.
Gray matter problem.
Yeah, but he would start overthinking everything, man. You could see him going through his wind-up, and it's like, and then I'm going to do, you know what I mean? But when he just let it flow, he was great. And so that game, and obviously we were playing the Mets, which is a big deal. Obviously. Always a big deal. I told him during batting practice that day, I said, hey, you just need to get out of your own way that one inning and just roll. And I know that if you can get through that, then we're gonna win a game. And so in the first inning, he punched out the first 2 guys, and nobody on, 2 outs, and then he went walk, 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 and now we have bases loaded and 2 outs, and Xavier came up, and when he hit it, I remember putting my head down. I was just running. I said, you know what? If I catch this and we get out of this, we're gonna win, because this is his big inning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it didn't matter. I'm like, I knew what was coming.
You
could
feel it too.
Yeah, and you get close and you know that the wall's there. But it was like, if I catch this, we're going to win this game. And I caught it, hit the fence. I ended up in the hospital, and I ended up watching the rest of the game from the emergency room. But
you had a great quote, right? What your line?
You were the one that told me that, though. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
In that press conference, they just asked me on the radio down there, and I had no idea the whole Ricky Waters situation.
Right. Yeah.
And so you were the one who brought me down to that press conference. Yep. I had that splint on my nose and everything. And
they purdied you up a little bit.
Yeah, right. Well, I was black and blue. But one of the reporters asked me about the Ricky Waters quote for who for what. And I just answered it honestly.
Right.
I was just like, for my teammates and for what? To win. Like,
right.
That's what we're out there for.
I mean,
right?
I'm telling you, you sealed. Yeah. You basically, it's almost like
you're forever in that lore. They love you.
Phillies players should take.
The funny part about it is we got done with the press conference. We walk out, and he's right in front of me, and the door closes, and he looks at me, and he goes, you have no idea what you just did. I'm like, and I go, I don't even know what you're talking about. And so he had to explain to me the situation.
Yeah, that was awesome. And you know what's cool, Aaron, is that you win a World Series with Chicago. You win a World Series with the Giants. Between those 2 teams, you were the Phillies. But I know you have a special relationship with the Phillies, even though it's one team you didn't have a World Series title with. Right, you're obviously come back here, and you see a lot of your teammates,
all my friends, and I love
and
Philly.
And fantasy camp. Don't forget about that.
And fantasy camp and everything else. But I love Philly fans. I always have. You know, I remember when I got traded for Jim, and you guys both know Jimmy, and he's like the most down to earth, like just a sweetheart guy.
Yeah.
Like very thoughtful about things. And so we got traded. I got off the phone with our general manager, and I was actually on my way to play golf. So I was on the golf course, and I get a phone call from Jim. And I was like, and I knew him just from playing against him when he was in Cleveland because we're in the same division. And he told me, he goes, man, you're going to love it. He goes, you're going to love Charlie. He's your kind of guy. He goes, the fans, they're going to love the way you play. He goes, it's no different than playing on the south side of Chicago.
Right.
And so that gave me a lot of, because obviously when you hear about, I played at the Vet only for one series in 03. But there's a reputation for Philly fans, right?
Yeah.
And so if I said there was no nerves, I'd be lying to you. But when he called me and told me that, I was like, okay, that gave me like a little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And so.
There was no question. Your makeup and who you are, that's a no-doubter for me. I knew as soon as that happened, I said, they're going to love this dude, man.
They just, all the fans here want is somebody to go out and play with heart and emotion and play to win. Yeah. And they'll give you a little leeway if you go play that way.
Yeah, but they're going to let you know.
They'll still let you know. If you're not doing well, they're going to let you know, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
But they'll give you a little bit of slack if you know they know you're busting your butt down.
Now,
line
have you been
day.
watching this current team? Obviously, the last 2 years, playoffs, World Series 2 years ago, last year NLCS. Have you been following pretty closely with the team?
I watch the Phillies. It's hard to watch the White Sox right now, I can tell you that. But I watch the Phillies. I watch because I always have felt a connection here. And when I was upstairs, we were actually talking about when I came back for the very first time. And this is like the epitome of like how great the Philly fans are. Yeah. This is why I appreciate them too. Yeah. My first at bat here, the year after I left, I got a standing ovation in the first inning. And I literally had to take 2 pitches because I was crying in the batter's box.
Wow.
And so towards the end of the game, we were tied like 1-1 or 2-2. And I came up to lead off the top of the 9th inning, and Charlie brought in J.C. Romero. And I led off I ambushed him. First pitch, homer in the top of the 9th to put us up 1. And right when the ball went over the fence, they booed me all the way around.
That's Philly fans in a nutshell.
And I had a grin from ear to ear running around the bases. And then to top it off, in the bottom of the 9th inning, we had 2 outs, nobody on, and Brian Wilson walked 3 in a row, and Pat Burrell hit a walk-off grand slam.
Right.
I'm like, of course you're going to do that.
Of course.
Well, Aaron, I know you guys both have to go down on the field, so I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to hanging out today. Tommy, thanks, buddy. We're leaving you, too.
All right.
So go get them out there, and I'm sure you guys both going to get a great ovation out there. So
I appreciate you guys.
All right. Aaron Rowan, Tommy Greene, coming up on the show. Chris Ermer is going to be my co-host, and we are going to talk about getting you set up for action today's game. Hopefully we can go for the sweep against the Nationals. You're listening to the Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA. We are live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park.
BCWSA customers, former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene here. I played on the 1993 National League champs, so I know a thing or two about what it's like playing on a winning team. BCWSA has all the ingredients. They make it easy for their customers to get automatic updates by text, email, or phone anytime there is a disruption in your service area. You can even customize your alerts by going to bcwsa.net. That's bcwsa.net. BCWSA, your partner for a safer environment. BCWSA, proven.
Energy costs are skyrocketing. Now is the time to upgrade your old heater and air conditioning systems to more efficient units to save on your utility bills. Harris Comfort can also handle all your propane needs, as well as providing sales and service on whole house generators. Harris Comfort is still family owned and has been serving our area for over 60 years, providing sales, service, installation, and peace of mind. Call 215-788-4596 or go to harriscomfort.com. Harris Comfort, still family and still local.
At Penn Community Bank, our commitment to helping our customers and communities grow and thrive drives everything we do. Whether you are just starting out or setting new goals, we have the checking solutions that can flex to your needs at any life stage. And for a limited time, you can earn a $300 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offer subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC. Phillie.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
With over 7,200 square feet of 200 brewers in stock at all times, Pat Dion Beverages now features 5 different flavors of their favorite slushy cocktails. You can also purchase online at patdionbeverages.com for upcoming events and samples from your favorite brewery or local food vendor.
We now return to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts, Phillies Director of Fun and Games, John Brazer, and former pitcher from the 93 National League champion Phillies, Tommy Greene.
All right, we're back to the Baseball Insider Show, presented by BCWSA, live from the CP Rankin Club at Citizens Bank Park. I'm John Brazer. Tommy Greene is getting ready to go on the field to be announced. So Chris Ermer is going to be my co-host for this segment. How you doing, Chris?
Oh, man, I'm pumped up.
It's gonna be
excited.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun because in a little bit, well, first of all, you can watch the show live at WBCBsports.com or search WBCB Sports on YouTube, or you can listen to the show on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, your station in Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County. Also, consider a career at Septa. Septa relies on and needs bus operators, train engineers, and conductors. As a Septa employee, you'll earn competitive compensation and great benefits, including medical, dental, prescription, and pension. Visit jobs.septa.org to apply today. That's jobs.septa.org. All right, I cut you off.
Well, I just wanted to jump in, John, and say this might be one of the best weekends to be down here for a Phillies fan. Alumni weekend.
Right.
We just had Aaron Rowan with us. Tommy Greene doing some stuff on the field, but there's a lot of, I think there's more energy around the alumni weekends. At least that's what I hear.
Well, a lot of the guys, while we were doing the show, a lot of guys are out signing autographs throughout. Now, right now they're getting ready to go out. But for that last 45 minutes, Joe Blanton and Aaron were bartending.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of other guys were all around the ballpark signing, taking pictures.
You know, I think some of that family atmosphere, you got to go back to Dave Montgomery and as Dave Buck was saying, how much he cared about the staff and the players. And I think it just resonates with the whole Phillies family, and it makes this alumni weekend something special, even across Major League Baseball.
Yep, and let me give you some of the names here. I've seen a bunch of them, but I haven't seen everybody. Bobby Abreu, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, Bobby was a guest on the Bull Session with us a couple of years ago, which was awesome. And that day, coincidentally enough, Roberto Clemente's grandson was there. They were in Philly presenting. Remember last year they did something?
Yes. Yep.
So that was cool. That was really cool. And to see Bobby Abreu get such a
right.
thrill out of seeing somebody who was just related
right.
to Roberto Clemente was pretty cool.
Well, my favorite Bobby Abreu story is many years ago we had SpongeBob SquarePants. This is back at the vet. So SpongeBob, the person who played SpongeBob, you don't put your arms in SpongeBob's arms. It's just the arms were kind of dead arms, right? So Burgoyne, the best friend of the Fanatic said, all right, told the Fanatic and SpongeBob, so why don't you guys go out there? We won't tell you what we're going to play, right? So fifth inning, they go out there with SpongeBob, and the Fanatic obviously orchestrated this. So he told the person to play YMCA. Well, SpongeBob couldn't put up the Y because he had no arms, right? So the Fanatic kept looking at him like, come on, man, where's the Y, right? So then at the end of it, they went a little late, and if you remember, there was a right field tunnel. So when the Fanatic would go off his four-wheeler off the field, at the vet, he'd go up, and there's a big ramp at the right field tunnel. So SpongeBob gets on the back, but instead of sitting behind him facing the same direction, for whatever reason, SpongeBob jumped on the back, so now their backs are against each other, right?
I mean, with no arms, you can't hold on.
And he's got no arms. He wouldn't hold on. So Fanatics flying off because they're late getting off the field, and they hit the ramp, and they go flying up the ramp. Well, Fanatic has no idea that SpongeBob launches off the end of the four-wheeler, And because he doesn't have arms to brace himself, he sailor dives onto the hard concrete, and he knocks himself out. So next thing you know, they had to stop the game because Bobby Abreu was howling like at right field because he had a close seat to this whole thing. So I always tell that story to Bobby when I see him.
Well, an absolute legend, and great to have Bobby Abreu here, and like Dave Montgomery now, a member of that Wall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, Ruben obviously is here. Larry Anderson. Howie Bedell played a long time ago. Joe Blanton was just bartending here.
Hey, we just had Howie Bedell actually as a guest on
really?
the Bull Session.
Oh.
I got to know Howie and some of the role that he played with the Phillies, and the story he told. Basically, he kind of handpicked Dallas Green. He was one of the guys who said, hey, we believe in this guy within our organization who could step up and lead the Phillies
That's
to
a pretty good recommendation
World Series
right
championship.
there.
So
Joe Blanton has his own wine business. Bob Boone. I golfed with Bob Boone last year. One of my favorites, Larry Boa. John Briggs played a while ago. Steve Carlton, lefty. I saw him last night. I have a little annual tradition where he always hangs in this executive bar. And last night I had one. I always had to have one cocktail with Lefty because that was my favorite player growing up.
that is awesome. Steve Carlton was on the mound for the first Phillies game I ever saw at the Vet. Still remember walking in and seeing the colors, the green and everything, and they beat the heck. I think it was the Braves that day.
Okay.
I got to look. I think it was like 17-4.
Doug Clemens played in the late 60s. Brandon Duckworth, he had the Duck Pond. Kevin Franson, I think I'm golfing with him in the alumni tournament tomorrow. Gene Garber, great pitcher.
And a good farmer.
70s. You guys have had him on. Pat Gillick, Hall of Famer, Wall of Famer. Tommy Greene, the great Tommy Greene. Greg Gross, instrumental to that 1980 championship, and I know you guys, you've probably had all these guys on.
It's such a great guy to hear just talk about hitting and the science of barreling up a baseball.
Yep.
He
was our hitting coach for a while. Terry Harmon played in the early 70s. Ramon Henderson was a coach, played minor leagues Phillies. The big piece, I saw Ryan Howard. I love Ryan Howard. He's got a chicken sandwich in here. Colby's son is a sun-kissed chicken, I think.
I think one of the all-time baseball insiders moments was when we had Ryan Howard's mom on the show on Mother's Day down at McFadden's.
Yes,
I was like,
that.
This is awesome.
You're right. The big piece.
That was great. The big piece's mom.
Steve Jeltz, who had a 2 home run day, one from each side of the plate. Eric Kratz, longtime catcher.
Also big with in the turkey bacon market.
Eric Kratz?
Wasn't he the guy who had turkey bacon?
I think you're right. I love Eric Kratz. John Kruk, he's been on a roll right now. Greg Legg, a lot of minor league and major league history. Mark Leiter Sr., Mark's son, is playing right now.
Yep.
Brad Lidge, I saw Brad, seen him the last couple nights. He is an archaeologist, and he goes on digs to Italy, and he was telling me all about it, where he spends from 8 to 4 basically surveying and doing digs off this acre area in Italy.
That's wild.
And he loves doing that. And then he goes to the lab and looks like what they found.
Imagine 1,000 years from now, they're going to discover some Brad Lidge memorabilia in an archaeological dig.
Exactly right, a Brad Lidge shoelace. All right, then Mike Lieberthal, love Lieby. Bull, Gary Maddox, right? When they said the ocean covers. What is it? 2/3 of the world,
something like that.
And Gary Maddox does the other third.
Yeah.
Ryan Madsen, a key to that 2008 team. Art Mahaffey.
All right, you know what? I got to get some of Gary Maddox's barbecue though. That's one of the things.
Yeah, he used to do the barbecue.
A great defender
they used
for
to do
Phillies.
the barbecue contest back there.
And I don't know how I missed getting some brisket or something from Gary. I got to.
Well, maybe you got to work on that.
It's a bucket list item.
Jeff Manto was on that 93 team. Jeff Manto, Bristol guy. Great guys. Yeah, he logged it. He look at his stats in the minor leagues. Jeff Manto, phenomenal player. Charlie Manuel, one of my all-time favorite people. Sarge, gotta love Sarge. 1983 NLCS MVP.
And how great is it that Charlie is able to be here?
Yep.
I know he had some health things going on,
Everything
and
he's
that's
gone
just
through.
Phillies fans celebrate.
He always gets today when we announce in 10 minutes. He will, mark my words, he'll get the biggest ovation of anybody.
Deservedly so.
Jamie Moyer, I just interviewed him for a pregame segment. Love Jamie. Dickie Knowles, longtime Phillies employee. Ron Reed got into the Wall of Fame last year, played in the NBA as well. J-Roll, I watched when Schwarber hit the grand slam. I was sitting right next to him because I saw him up in a booth, sat next to him for an inning, and I happened to be right at the grand slam. And Schwarber let the first pitch go, and Jimmy says, oh, man, because I guess the pitching coach just talked to the pitcher. And Jimmy said, you got to know that he's going to throw a strike because the pitching coach just went out to talk to him to tell him to throw strikes. Right. And Schwarber let that one go and obviously worked the at-bat, got the grand slam.
Yeah, this team, where would we be without Schwarber? Just his energy and, I don't know, his whole vibe, and then the production has been amazing.
Yeah. And he's also cut down on his strikeouts, and he's getting more hits. His average is up this year. All right, Chooch. I saw Chooch early in the weekend. Obviously had a big moment on Friday night.
Got to throw the pitch.
Yep, threw out the first pitch. Juan Samuel, Sammy, fan favorite. Schmitty, Kevin Stocker, you hear him on the radio. Aaron Rowan mentioned Jim Thome. Milt Thompson, again, a Phillies employee and ambassador. Manny Trio was my unsung player of the year, favorite player as a kid. Steve Carlton was a superstar. You always have a superstar and kind of an unsung guy. Manny Trio. And then Bobby Wine, who is Bobby Wine from way back from the 60s.
Yeah.
I saw Bobby, so it's great to see that.
Big-time friend of the Bull Session. Hey, one thing from earlier in the show, you were asking about Castellanos' swing percentage on the first pitch, and I was able to look at some stats, and I think I found it. It looks like he's swinging 51.4% of the time on the first pitch.
What do you think the league average would be?
I don't know.
20%?
25%,
maybe?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit lower.
A lot of guys like to take a look at the pitch to see, especially at the beginning of the game, to see what the guy's got. And
that doesn't sound like an astronomical number, but that is big. A really, really high number.
He's been always known for first pitches, and this is by far the biggest percentage. All right, here's your lineup for today for the sweep. Hopefully the sweep, knock on wood. For the Nationals, you got Abrams. You got Call. Abrams playing shortstop. Call playing right field. Wood playing left field. Ruiz catching. Garcia Jr. playing second base. Chaparro first base. Tena batting seventh, playing third base. Blankenship DHing, and Young center field. We are going up against today. The pitcher's a good young pitcher, Jake Irvin, a right-handed pitcher, 6'6", big guy, 6'6", 234. He's 9-10, but he's got a 3.72 ERA, not bad. So Jake Irvin, we're gonna have our work cut out for us. Taijuan Walker, hopefully he can build on what he did last time and just kind of let's keep improving. He is 3-4 for the year, 5.68 ERA. And for the Fightin' Phils, it's a little bit different lineup here. Again, it's a righty. You got Schwarber leading off, DHing. You got Trey Turner batting second, shortstop. Alec Boehm batting third. So who are we missing right here? Harper's not in the lineup.
Harper.
Castellanos batting fourth. Stott batting fifth, playing second base. Marsh batting sixth, left field. Sosa playing third base. Cal Stevenson getting a start in center field. And Garrett Stubbs catching.
No Harp today.
So in the Schwarber's 0 for 8 against Irvin in his life. Turner's 1 for 6. Boehm's 2 for 9. Castellanos 1 for 6. Stott 2 for 7. Marsh 1 for 3. Sosa 1 for 2. Stevenson 0 for 2. Stubbs never faced him. So that is your lineup. And Chris, I think that about wraps up the show. So looking forward to this. Hopefully we get the sweep today. You got any predictions for today's game?
I say the Phillies get the W.
Get the W. High-scoring game or a low-scoring game?
I'm looking at 5-3. 5-3. That's what I see in the crystal ball.
You heard it from Chris Ermer. That wraps up today's Baseball Insider Show presented by BCWSA.
Just win, baby.
Right, live in the CP Rank Club. Thanks to my co-host, Tommy Greene. My other co-host, Chris Ermer. Back in the studio, Stephen Lawler. Thanks to our guest today, Dave Buck, Aaron Rowan. We will be back next Sunday at Keenan's from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock before the Phils take on Bobby Witt Jr. and the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, did you see Bobby Witt Jr. almost got the cycle and they beamed him? One of
the best young players in the game. Hopefully he won't do anything against us next weekend. Until then, have a great week. And as the late, great Harry the K says,
we're out of here.
Phillies baseball on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, W297CL Levittown is brought to you by McCaffrey Supermarket.